This old phone charger can no longer charge a phone, but instead of throwing it away, I'm going to turn it into a TV antenna. Will it actually work as expected? Today, I'll show you the entire building process step by step, and we'll test how many TV channels this homemade antenna can receive. First, I open the phone charger casing and remove the circuit board inside. Next, I remove the two metal charger prongs. These parts are no longer needed, leaving the charger housing as a compact enclosure for the antenna assembly. In the next step, I use a drill to make two holes in the charger casing. These holes will be used to install the antenna connectors. I drill a hole in the center of the charger cover. This hole will be used to install an additional connector while keeping the components evenly arranged. I use a utility knife to trim the plastic edges around the newly drilled hole. This removes any excess plastic, creates a cleaner opening, and allows the connector to fit more securely in place. Here, I have three F-type connectors, F5, which I'll use as the connection ports for the antenna. Then, I install the three F-type connectors into the three drilled holes and tighten them securely onto the charger housing. This setup provides strong connection points between the antenna and the signal cable, while making good use of the charger casing as a compact and sturdy frame for the entire antenna assembly. Don't forget to subscribe to support the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss my latest videos. In the next step, I'll use a small copper rod as the internal conductor for the antenna. First, I bend one end of the copper rod into a hook, then adjust it so that it matches the spacing between the two F-type connectors. Once the correct dimensions are set, I trim and shape the copper hook in preparation for soldering. Next, I place both the copper hook and the copper rod onto a wooden clip, positioning them so that the end of the rod touches the center of the hook. Then, I apply soldering flux to the joint area. Next, I use a soldering iron and solder wire to securely join the copper rod and the copper hook. This creates a solid electrical path that allows signals to travel reliably between the antenna's connection points. After the joint is complete, I install the assembled conductor into the two holes of the F-type connectors inside the charger housing and secure it in place. Finally, I close the charger cover, making sure that the connector mounted on the cover is electrically connected to the copper rod inside the charger. Next, I'll use a clothes hanger to create the antenna's receiving elements. First, I use pliers to cut the metal rod from the hanger to the required length. Cutting it to the proper size makes it easier to shape while ensuring both receiving elements are identical. Then, I wrap the metal rod around a plastic tube to form a metal spring. I continue wrapping until the entire rod has been shaped into a coil. The spring design increases the effective length of the conductor while keeping the structure compact, helping improve the antenna's signal reception. Next, I use pliers to straighten one end of the spring, creating a connection point. This makes the assembly process easier, while providing a secure and reliable electrical connection. In the next step, I'll use a coaxial cable to create the connection between the antenna assembly and the receiving elements. I cut the coaxial cable into 2 equal pieces. Next, I strip the insulation from one end of each cable to expose the inner conductor. This prepares the cables for the connectors while ensuring stable signal transmission. Then, I install an F-type connector onto each cable. These connectors provide a secure connection to the antenna while minimizing signal loss. I wrap electrical tape around each connection to secure the joints, protect the contact points from loosening, and improve their durability during use. I repeat the same process with the second signal cable, creating another identical cable assembly. Next, I connect the 2 signal cables to the 2 F-type connectors at the bottom of the charger. These cables link the receiving elements to the antenna's internal signal path, ensuring reliable signal transmission. I strip the other end of the coaxial cable, but this time I remove a longer section of insulation to expose more of the copper conductor. This provides enough wire length to connect to the metal spring and complete the antenna's receiving element. I bend the exposed copper conductor so that it is perpendicular to the coaxial cable. This shape makes it easier to attach the metal spring while keeping the receiving element properly positioned. Next, I wrap the exposed copper conductor around the metal spring, forming a secure electrical connection. Wrapping the wire directly around the spring increases the contact area, providing better electrical conductivity and more reliable signal transfer. I attach the second metal spring to the copper conductor of the remaining signal cable, creating 2 symmetrical receiving elements. This balanced design helps the antenna receive signals more evenly and improves overall performance. At this point, the antenna's receiving assembly is complete. All the components have been securely assembled and connected, ready for the next step of making the cable that connects the antenna to the TV before testing its reception performance. Next, I'll use a long signal cable as the connection between the antenna and the TV. First, I strip the insulation from one end of the cable to expose the copper core inside. This prepares the cable for the connector and helps ensure stable signal transmission with minimal signal loss. Next, I attach an F-type connector, F5, to the end of the cable. This connector allows the cable to connect securely to the TV signal splitter on the antenna, creating a reliable and easy-to-install connection. I then repeat the same process on the other end of the cable to create a second connector. After that, I attach one end to a TV coaxial connector. This connector allows the cable to plug directly into the TV's antenna input, making installation quick and convenient. I wrap electrical tape around each connection to secure the joints and protect the contact points from becoming loose. It also helps keep out dust and improves the overall reliability of the connection during use. After completing the connector on the signal cable, I connect it to the remaining F-type connector on the charger. Now, I'm going to test it in real-world conditions to see how effective it really is. First, I'll switch to a TV channel to check the signal reception without connecting the antenna. As you can see, without the antenna connected, the TV only displays the message, no signal. Next, I'll connect the DIY antenna to the signal input on the back of the TV for the actual test. And here is the result. Almost immediately after connecting the antenna, the TV channels begin to appear. The picture is clear, the colors remain stable, and there are no continuous signal interruptions. To make the test more convincing, I'll perform one more experiment. I disconnect the antenna from the TV and observe the signal changes. As soon as the antenna is unplugged, the screen instantly returns to the no signal message. All channels disappear, confirming that the signal truly came from this homemade antenna. Now, I'll reconnect the antenna once again. As you can see, within just a few seconds, the channels reappear and continue working normally. This proves that many electronic parts that seem to have only one purpose can be reused in completely different and surprisingly useful ways. Not only does this save money, but it also opens the door to many more exciting DIY ideas. If you enjoyed this project or found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support motivates me to continue creating more repair, recycling, and DIY projects in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.